So I have Charlie with me. Charlie, as I've mentioned before, he runs his own business. He's helping us with WorkShield. We are socially distanced because of these screens, or this screen in between us, which we call our social shield, which basically does the job. So yeah, we don't have to wear our masks. So what is it, Charlie, that you would like to discuss?
Yes, so I remember we had a conversation a while back about potentially becoming partners in the sewing machine business, and I unfortunately declined the offer as I want to move to Lincolnshire long term, because my mum lives up in Lincolnshire, and that's where my heart is. I want to get a big unit in Lincolnshire. I want to set up the industrial side and the domestic side.
When do you want to move?
Next year, end of Christmas.
Why end of Christmas, not tomorrow?
Because Emma is moving to Market Deeping, and I will potentially move up there with her, which is borderline Birmingham, Peterborough, which is in between. Property prices up there are just dirt cheap. I can get a unit up there very cheap. By that time, so I've got from now until then to generate enough income to be able to build enough capital in order to be able to fund the business. So that's my goal. When we initially had a conversation about doing the sewing machines together, it was quite a nervous time for me because I was losing sleep. I didn't know what to do. I was thinking, oh, should I do it? This could be a life-changing opportunity. What should I do? And obviously I declined the offer. But I do think about it all the time. And I had a brainstorm and was thinking if there was some way in particular, I don't know if your circumstances have changed, that we could come to sort of an agreement within the business, whereas we could both work together.
But do you need me? I mean, you are doing well in terms of you pushing sales and so on. And then obviously I accept that you declined the offer, which was the right thing to do back then, and then it's sort of all understandable. But I do honestly think that you don't need my help. Honestly, I mean, even if you want to move out and so on, and the reason why, and I mentioned from the very beginning, that I don't really believe in partnerships per se, because it's quite difficult, because as a business owner you have to have your own vision. And you've got your vision. I will never have the same vision as you because it is your venture.
Vision, yeah, absolutely.
It's the same as with the companies I run. I've got a vision for them, and it's very difficult to now get someone else to replace myself and have the same vision and so on. It's totally different if we have a team and they know what the vision is, but it's still the same vision. Whereas if we are two people coming up with a vision, it's a very tricky one.
Absolutely.
Where I saw it previously was to sort of help you grow the business, put in these systems, the procedures and all that, the whole structure to allow it for further growth.
Absolutely.
But then, okay, well then continue, what you would like to say.
So my idea was, originally you said that about we could do something here at this unit, divide some of the units somewhere, make some space for the sewing machines, which is absolutely fine. However, that would be for only the industrial sewing machine equipment. You cannot supply domestic sewing machine equipment. None of the agents will supply you, none of the suppliers.
But that's why?
Because they're just really difficult to deal with, because we're in a certain radius of other dealers, they won't touch you.
Okay, so just exclusivity, they just won't allow it.
Won't allow it, yeah. A good friend of mine who owns a sewing machine shop, he went from working for the same company I did to own his own shop, now having a massive unit in Watford, doing extremely well for himself, sells all the industrials you can think of but can't sell domestics because he's too close to other dealers.
To others, yeah.
So it would never work long term. You'd have to move out, and Lincolnshire's prime spot, there's no one there, the prices are very cheap, my mum's up there, that's just what I want. So I had an idea of potentially doing it together, and then me opening a branch in Lincoln and dealing with industrial and domestic in Lincoln, and you potentially running industrial down there, and then because we've got the branch in Lincoln, then they would allow us to bring the machines over to our other branch here in Hounslow or wherever it would be.
Yeah, but remember that initially sort of declined it because you wanted to make sure that you are 100%, you sort of have 100% ownership.
Agreed.
And I agree, and then I'm the same. I mean, I would rather keep on a majority or on a vast majority, although that is not the case with some of my businesses because I do share it with others. But I honestly do think that you don't need my help. Like in terms of you. Okay, let's put it in another way. You do need my help in terms of the sort of knowledge which I can share with you.
Yeah.
But you don't need on board as a business partner.
No, agreed. I do. Well, yeah, agreed to a certain degree. I understand that. But for an example, I'm at a border now where I've got machines in stock now. I've got about 10 industrial sewing machines in stock, which is almost £15,000 worth of sewing machines. I've got a small 200 square foot unit. There's not enough room to build all the machines in that unit.
That's how best businesses start. They start out of
in order for me to really start pushing the sewing machines, it's not a matter of delivering them in the van. It's about delivering them on a next day service on a pallet. So you have to have the machine assembled, you have to put it on a pallet, you have to drill it to the pallet, you have to shrink wrap it, and then you have to strap it, stick a label on it, pallet weighs and collect it, and then drop it to the customer the next day.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Why?
Because I work here till 4 o'clock. The machines can't be built because there's not enough room in the unit. So I can't physically go from here.
Can't you build it in the unit?
I can build it in the unit.
Corridors. I mean, surely there are some.
Yeah,
hallways.
there are some corridors and there are some hallways to build the machines. Another issue I've got is I've got a gentleman that builds the machines for me.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
But some of the margins on the machines don't justify paying him to build them.
Yeah.
Some of them, like the machine I delivered the other day, did. But some of the cheaper machines don't. They do if you've got like 10 in a row, then you can just call him up and you've got a day's work for him. But if you just need 1 or 2 built, it's not worth it. It doesn't make sense for him to travel to you, build them. He wants too much money, the margins get smaller, and then it's a waste of time. You could be getting on with more important.
Well, then can you build the units?
I can, but it takes me ages. It takes me. For an example, the machine he built the other day, it was a computerised machine. I'll send you a photo of it actually. I haven't got my phone on me, but I'll send you a photo of it. It would take me 4 hours to build it. He built it in an hour.
Yeah, but I guess if you start going, you will get to 1 hour as well.
Yeah.
If you start on building them, because I actually recorded a video quite recently about the fact that imagine there's a gap. I don't know, the floor collapsed and there's a 3 meter gap.
Yeah.
So 3 meters, you're not able to just hop over because you'll fall down.
No, of course.
So you get killed.
Yeah.
If you jog and jump, you won't make it as well. If you sprint and give everything you have, like 110%, then you've got high chances of jumping over.
Absolutely.
And saving yourself.
I understand.
And I claim that the same is in business, where you sometimes have to jump into the deep end and then just go for it. And I'm pretty sure you're approaching that moment in time where you just have to focus on the business, and either you will make it or you break it. But obviously if you're jumping into the deep end, you can't break it because that means your whole future is in jeopardy. So effectively what's left is success.
Yeah.
There's no other alternative. And when I started my first business, Stilo, it was exactly the same. I just jumped into the deepest end possible, and I just knew that there's no way out. There's no plan B. I just can't lose it. I just have to make it work. And I really claim that you have to put yourself into that kind of position, because otherwise there's so many things that can go wrong. And if you've got a safety net below, like with the jumping over, if there's a safety net there, then you'll just give it a go, because if you don't make it, then you'll just land on the safety net. And the same is in business. If you've got a safe, secure job somewhere at the back, or I don't know, a safety net to drop back on, it's not really the way to succeed. You really have to put everything on the edge. You just have to go for it.
I understand.
And in my opinion, that's something you have to do. And then even with what we discussed here, or the fact that you do spend your time here, then maybe coming to an agreement where you spend less time here per day, because let's face it, I mean, with the amount of orders and so on, a few hours is okay, and that will give you enough time to be flexible during the day, which you can then spend on either building machines or getting pallet ways in and all of that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And then the other reason as to why I thought of this was because the main guy at my old company who builds the machines is not happy with his job anymore.
I guess he wants to sort of get him on board.
Right, so basically he wants to work for me, yeah, and I looked after him really well the other day. He's like, Charlie, when this works I'll do whatever, I'll move to Lincolnshire with you. But he needs another job.
Does he have a family or what sort?
He's from Pakistan.
Yeah.
All his family live in Pakistan.
Oh, okay, so he's...
Yeah, he's got a visa and everything else.
Yeah.
He is an amazing person, honestly, such a hard working person. You know, the whole 5 years that he worked for the company, I don't think he was late once. You know, that sort of person. And I mean, he's on minimum wage. They treat him like a piece of, and it was just terrible. And me and him get on really well. And he actually asked me, he said, "Oh, you know your new job, you're getting on really well at the moment, aren't you?" So I'm doing all right actually. Okay, they're really nice people. You know, as long as I do my work, they don't mind me doing a little bit of my own work in the same time. Because obviously my boss loves business. I said, "Oh, like, I couldn't have asked for a better job.
That's me.
I couldn't have asked for a better job, really." And he was like, "Oh, well, listen, I need a job. Is there any chance you can get me a job?" I said, "Listen, I can ask HR and see if there's any work available." Because he's got a bit of an accent, he would never be any good on like telephones or anything. But production-wise, I'd say he was a brown version of Sebastian. Literally, you know, he could put his hands at anything and he will learn extremely quickly.
Yeah.
That's why I was under the impression, because Lena said in the future there might be a possibility for him to have a job here. Not guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean,
if he did, that would work quite well for me, in the sense that he could do his day's work here, and then after work, I could have machines ready.
Yeah, but here, Charlie, you have to be very careful, because it sounds like you want to plan the future of the company based on a single person that you want to help. And you've got a very sort of good heart and you really want to help other people, but you have to be careful because ultimately you have to treat a business as a separate entity. Imagine the business is also a human being.
Yes.
And you have to make sure that that human being is looked after.
Of course.
And you can't sort of now come up with a 2-year plan for the business only because you want to help a specific person.
Understood.
So really be careful with that. Treat them separately and understand why you want to help that person and so on. But remember, business is a business, not a charity for a reason.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean,
first of all, a business needs to make money so that you can then help others. Without that, if you first want to help others and then grow a business around it, it won't work.
It won't work.
You have to really be careful, and it's
okay.
Just first comes the business, then helping. Obviously, I'm not saying that people aren't important; they are very important. But you have to decide: do you want to help people?
Yeah.
Or do you want to run the business? And I'm not saying one excludes the other, but you can't build a business strategy based on a single person's circumstances.
No, I understand that completely. I mean, that's why I learn a lot about the machines. I know how to build the machines myself. It just takes me a long time.
Yeah, but you have to start somewhere. I mean, everything we do to start with takes ages. I mean, it's like with riding a bike. No one went off straight away. But then I know that would work with you, but it won't work as a healthy business where you have an employee joining us only then to serve your business. I understand why you want to sort of put in me in the whole picture, but you're really overcomplicating the whole structure only because you want to help one person.
Yeah,
is that true?
It is true, yeah. It sounds a bit cheeky, actually.
It is. I mean, it is. You're like literally trying to structure everything so that you help one person, which you
But
really
I'm trying to help him. I'm trying to help your business, but at the same time, it's helping me as well. Do you understand what I mean? It's like killing 3 birds with 1 stone.
You have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself in business, no one else will take care of you. It's a harsh reality.
I learned that the hard way.
Remember, being a business owner, you're very lonely anyway. So if you spend too much time helping others, there's nothing bad about helping others. But you have to remember that you will risk the whole business just because you're trying to help someone else. And don't get me wrong, I try to help as much as I can.
Yeah, I understand.
But there comes a point where it's quite funny because if I try focusing on individuals outside of the company and try helping them, then I might put the whole company in jeopardy, which will mean that, I don't know, almost 40 people or so lose their jobs, and that is X amount of families to feed and so on. So that is, you have to be careful
It's like a
where
domino
you
effect,
try,
isn't
exactly, you try helping someone, but actually what you're not noticing is how many people are actually becoming disadvantaged because of your desire to help someone.
Yeah.
So no, okay, now I understand why you want me on board, but that is definitely not the reason to have me on board, is to help a friend of yours.
No, but it's not necessarily to help the friend of mine.
Yeah, no, I mean, the other stuff,
it's
like,
obviously like to join, like, because obviously branches, people, like, you know, you get like brothers or family-run business. They own different branches in different areas. You know, it's like Steelo, for an example. You could have a Steelo West London based. You could have one up north.
yeah, but there's place for everything in time. You first have to get one operation working like a well-oiled machine, put in systems and procedures, understand how it all works, and only then you're ready to replicate. You can't start by thinking of 2 branches straight away. And by the way, the reason why you want 2 branches is because you want to sort out your private life, but also in the meantime, so that we can employ someone, and then it just doesn't make business sense to think about 2 branches at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if I was you, I would I don't know, cut down hours spent here just so you can really focus on your business.
Yeah.
So that you are able to, I don't know, pack it and put it on a pallet and then get a company to ship it for next day. But then also, if your goal is to move out of London, well, then focus on that goal, because next Christmas is just around the corner.
It's not
It's just like that. So focus on getting that done. And unfortunately, in business, you will have to learn that there's so many other opportunities and things that you just have to ignore. They're very tempting. It's like, oh, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? But the moment you start chasing all those red herrings, you'll never achieve your initial goal.
Yeah, I know deep down what it is in my heart, what I want. It's like I said to you before, I used to work with a guy called Richard who's got a 10,000 square foot unit, who does upholstery, and he pleaded to go into business with me. He said, like, we'll use all this unit, we'll use all my staff.
You mentioned that, yeah.
And I declined it. You know, and I scratched my head for weeks thinking, have I done the right thing here or not? I don't know. But, yeah.
Well, the decision's decision. I mean, you can always sort of have second thoughts, but, yeah.
No, I take your advice strongly, Michael.
Because, I mean, remember, I am here to help. I mean, I do it because I just love helping others.
No,
like you said, you put deep in your heart. It's the same thing here. I know how difficult it is to build a business. I've been through a lot of difficult times and experiences. I've also learned a lot, because that's what I spend my time on. And that is why I sort of feel that this is my mission. And as you know, I'm more than happy to help you.
No, I appreciate that, thank you.
And for your benefit, it is better to just take advantage of the fact that I want to help without having me on board as an investor. Honestly, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no.
Bear in mind also that the reason why you want me now is just for the short term, just so you solve the next few months' problem. But it's very short-sighted.
Yeah.
Think about the long term. Do you want me in 5 years' time? No, because you'll be in Lincolnshire. So why would you need me? Just because we set up another branch? Well, yeah, but we'll set this branch, but we know what the limitations are. We can't go into residential because there are others who cover the area. So yeah, just follow your plan. Don't divert into thousands, I don't know, dead-end streets just because it serves a very short-term purpose.
No, I appreciate your honesty.
And even with your mate that you would like to help out with, if you've got enough savings, and I know it's an if, but it's quite a difficult one, then you might have to decide at one stage to just take him on board for a full-time wage, just so that you can spend 100% of your time increasing sales, knowing that you've got someone who will get the machines assembled, pack it, and get ready for shipping.
See, I could do that, but I don't sell enough machines at the moment. I'm nearly at that point. But in order to make that happen, I'll end up like just spinning out of control.
But remember, it's a chicken and egg situation. I know it's easy to just defer it for later, but do you think there'll be a magical time where suddenly, out of nowhere, you'll have so many orders that you can now afford an employee? It's always difficult. The first employee is the most difficult decision to make, because it's very difficult, and I would even claim it's impossible to work so much yourself so that once you take someone on board, that person has a full-time job, 8 hours every single day, and you sort of continue. There'll always be a sort of lagging process where you take someone on board, but they won't have 100% of time
be building machines.
To be building machines or doing whatever the work is required.
Yeah.
Because if that is the case, that means that you were working 2 shifts for a long period of time, which by the way is quite normal when starting the business. But I doubt that will be enough to pay or to give someone a full-time job.
No, agreed.
Once you manage that step and then sales continue to grow, then it's much easier to take on the second employee, third, and then it's much easier. But the first one is a hell of a challenge. And then again, my advice is to save enough money so that you are able to pay that person with the fact that you would be sacrificing your own salary for the next few months.
I understand.
Yeah, so yeah, that's his option. But again, in your circumstances, your best way forward is to build the machines yourself.
Yeah.
And I know that it is tempting to outsource everything at the beginning, but best businesses are built when people, the owners, are involved in all the operations themselves to start with.
Absolutely.
It's like with Stilo. I mean, I worked at night to get the steels painted. I'm not a welder, so I always got people to weld the steel, but all the manual jobs that I could do, I used to do them, and also I used to deliver to sites, I used to offload and so on. So I've done a hell of a lot of the work myself, but because I knew the work, I could then build the business and scale up because I know what needs to be done.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that is why it is said that many successful businesses start out from a garage. It's not because they start in a garage, it's not a magical place, it just means that the person was hands-on, so they know their business inside out. And then they can build on that knowledge the whole business around it.
Yeah.
So same as, I mean, if you want to sell machines, and I know you're very good at it, but doing the technical work these for a year or so won't do you any harm. If anything, it will just teach you.
That's what I need. I mean, it's not the issue of building them. Like, I know how to build them. I'm quite good, like with motocross bikes. I can strip a motorbike and put it back together again. But when I don't do it regularly, because I'm only doing 1 or 2 a week, when you're doing them every single day, you sort of got that routine of how to do it and what order to do it in.
Yeah, I know, but if you've got only 1 or 2 a week, then why do you need an employee to do it? You have to do it yourself.
Yeah, I have to do it myself.
It's just...
Unless, like for an example, that machine I did on Saturday, that was really good margin. I made 400 quid off of that between me and you, so I could afford to pay someone £30 to build it.
What was the sale price, or?
2,000. Well, 1,800.
1,800. Okay, so 400. Yeah, okay. 20-something% margin, which is
plus 80 quid for delivery. Cost me 20 quid to drive up there. So 60 quid I made on the delivery as well.
Yeah. Yeah, early days you save wherever you can.
That's it, yeah.
It's I would go back again to your van example and even now, because you did outlay the deposits, if you went for a proper used, on a 5-year-old van, you would have enough money to pay someone's wages for 3-4 months.
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah.
And that could have been the sort of turning point where you now have someone to build the machines, which will free you to focus 100% of your time on selling. So yeah, that's why I did mention that. In my opinion, you should have gone for something worth £5 grand.
£5 or something, and no finance, just.
Because even now, I mean, how many times are you using it per week? Twice? Times?
Well, I drove backwards and forwards to work, and I've used it.
I mean, using it as a business.
As a business, I've done quite a lot recently, to be honest. Probably about 5 or 6 times since I've only had it since Wednesday.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of moving from unit, from the flat, because I've got loads of stock at the flat as well.
But that's internal. That's not selling.
Not selling, no. I've only done the one machine.
Yeah, that's the thing. So that's the thing. Only for one. And I honestly don't think customers care what vehicle turns up, because I know you mentioned that it's better if it's a nice shiny van and so on. Customer couldn't care less. They just get it.
They just want their goods. Even
when you use a shipping company, do you know what the vehicle's going to look like that delivers it at the end of the day?
You just want the parcel in.
Truck out there.
Yeah, well, even look at Hermes. They go in. You don't know what they go in. They go in cars. They go in.
Yeah, exactly. Falling apart sometimes, these cars, and so do you care? Does that prevent you from ordering from Amazon next time? No. You couldn't care less. You've got your product, that's what you're after. And same as with the company vehicle. So yeah, that's why I would push that even further and push harder in terms of buying a cheap van that just does the job. But it's done.
It's done now.
It's a very
Yeah.
nice vehicle.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah. No, thank you very much.
But yeah, it's just
It was better
showing-
than spending the whole 24,800.
No, definitely.
So
Yeah.
we met in the middle. We made it in the middle. So, but
yeah,
no.
yeah, but you could have spent like that on like £6,000 and that's it. Nothing, no more, no monthly payments, nothing. It will be yours and so on.
I understand.
And there's a difference. When you start out, you have to sort of save as much as you can on anything that you buy, cars being one of them. But once you are an established business, you have to invest in vehicles because they own assets, because they have to make the deliveries happen.
Yeah,
You don't want to have your cars breaking down and so on, because then it affects your reliability.
Absolutely.
So it does change later down the line, but at the beginning, just go for the cheapest. But that is where you could have had your mate working for you for a few months.
Yeah.
Again, I wouldn't say that's the right thing to do, because you know you're burning cash. You just
I
spend
could just build them myself, couldn't I?
exactly. I mean, imagine now have someone working full time and they've only got 3 hours a week to do something. Probably the best job in the world, having being paid full time and
Yeah.
not having. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate the fact that you sort of would like me as a partner, but based on the facts that you provide,
Not interested.
not that I'm interested. You don't need me. I mean, honestly,
No, I
you don't
understand
need me.
that.
I'm not, and the reason why I initially offered it was just that it made sense back then. But it was summer, so it must have been like 8 months ago or so.
Yeah.
7, 8 months.
Yeah, about 7, 8 months ago.
So obviously we were in a different situation back then. Now we've got a few new ventures going. I'm involved in them 100%.
Yeah.
So the bus has left, I would say.
No problem at all. But if anything springs to mind, you know where I am.
Yeah, but then also the other way around. If you need any suggestions or any, I don't know, just another person just to bounce off your ideas or just to speak to you, then just.
That's very kind of you, Michael. I really
As
appreciate
always,
it.
you know that.
Yeah,
Always
much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.